What's up, guys? Specstar here today with my Week 3 battle for UTL, and I'm going up here against Hooch. I'm 2-0 and he is 1-1, and it's my final divisional battle before I start moving on to different kind of matches, and then I'll get back to divisional stuff at the end of the season. It's just the way my schedule works. So Hooch here's got a team consisting of Fortress, Suicune, Mega Metachamp, Darmanitan, Kyurem Black, and Florges, and I will switch over to my team here. Starting off with this team, I have got I've got an Expert Belt Jirachi. The special coverage is just great for hitting pretty much everything on his team. It can kind of hit through his bulk with a Flash Cannon for Florges and Energy Ball for Suicune. Brock's very nice in this matchup. If I can keep them up, we'll have to see how that works out. Next up, I've got Zapdos, and I am running Scarf Zapdos. I believe I had speed for Kyurem Black. I did have speed for Kyurem Black. Scarf Zapdos, really just a good offensive check to a lot of its very offensive mons. It's nice to be able to outspeed things like Darmanitan and such with this matchup. Could be nice to outpace the Kyurem Black. Hidden Power Grass was for Quagsire, which didn't come. Volt Switch, U-Turn of course just for any sort of grounds that wanted to try to come in on this Pokemon. I want to be able to get that switch out when I know that I'm forcing something out. I want to be able to have the safe switch out to kind of get in my more ideal matchup. Next up here, I've got an Assault Vest Tangrowth. Nothing too surprising or out of the ordinary here. I've got Poison Jab, which lets me hit Florges. Power Whip, of course, just good to have that kind of damage on Suicune. Knock Up, just the most spammable move, and Hidden Power Fire is able to hit Fortress. I didn't want to be completely walled by that thing. Next up here, I've got a physically defensive Slowbro, of course, the natural pairing with the Assault Vest Tangrowth. Lefties, nothing too shocking there. Slack Off, Toxic Scald, the usual suspects. Toxic's nice for wearing down some of the bulk on his team, or at least to force off some aromatherapies if that wants to be a response to it. Foul Play is just a good move for being able to hit Kyurem Black, which I didn't want to be completely set up fodder, switching fodder on breaking subs and things like that on most variants. And next here, I've got a Comfey, which is classified Secret Sword, Grass Whistle, Secret Power, Throat Chop, and Unaware. We're not talking about this set because I do have to rematch Hooch, and a Comfey set like I brought, and I did not completely reveal this set in this battle. Either I just didn't get to fully utilize it, I sacked it, or it was stashed, something like that happened. And I don't particularly want to show my details of the set because, it might be out there, it might be something I want to use again, just kind of depends. And I didn't really want to show it if I didn't have to. So I'm going to apologize to you guys there. I just believe that it's something that I thought it was important to keep stashed. And lastly, I had the Hitmonchan, and this is my most out there set. I've got a real creative set here. Substitute, Toxic, Rapid Spin, Thunder Punch. Now, the point of this set is I can come in on a Fortress, I can sub up for free. I've got the defense investment, so Gyro Ball isn't breaking my sub if he's relaxed without attack investment. And if he does want to go into Cofagrigus to try to block my Rapid Spins, I've got the sub, I've got the Toxic, and I'm beating that Pokemon. It also, with that little bit of speed investment, I outpace a non-invested Suicune and Florges. So if they want to come in on this Pokemon, I can wear them down with Toxic. Basically, this Hitmonchan's just built to kind of screw with anything he wants to bring in on it. More so than really coming in on something and capitalizing on them, it just screws with any real switch into it. And it keeps rocks off the field on my side, which is important. So let's go back to the replay here. Get the right angle. Here, I just want to lead off with, what did I lead off with? I led off with my Hitmonchan predicting a Fortress lead. He brings in his Darmanitan, that never scares me. I go into my Slowbro, and he is just going to U-turn out. He'll bring in his Fortress. I know that quite generally it can do virtually nothing to Jirachi, so I'll bring Jirachi in. He goes for Toxic, which is nice for this thing, plus I know it has that Toxic now. He then shows Protect, which this is good information for me. I get up my rocks, of course, they're just very nice against this team, and I can also force Fortress to spin if it is spin, which should be spin. He's now shown Toxic and Protect, which tells me his last two moves are almost definitely Wish and Moonblast. So I know that this thing is not Heal Bell, which is very nice for some of the status I have on my team with Hitmonchan and Slowbro's Toxic and Zapdos Static. So very important note to take there. I'm going to switch out thinking he may want to go into Fortress on my... Jirachi, which, or any sort of switch in really, that Zapdos covered. It covered that, it covered the Suicune too. If he did go Fortress, I was very serious about keeping my rocks up and I didn't want to give him a free spin. He didn't know that my Rachi couldn't touch it, but you never know with people and I didn't want to give him a free spin. Zapdos could have Heat Waved on and taken it out. It also covers the play in a Suicune or anything like that. So I get my Zapdos in here. I'm just going to Volt Switch out. He doesn't have a ground type or an immunity that came to this game. So I can just Volt Switch very freely, which is very nice. He brings in the Florges. I'm going to go back in my Jirachi. This time I'm just going to click my Flash Cannon again because if he wants to bring in Suicune, I'm going to click my Flash Cannon and then I'm going to click it again on this turn, because if he does want to bring in a Suicune again on this thing, it's not taking my Energy Ball very well, so that's a-okay with me. He brings in the Fortress, and that was what I was trying to avoid last time. I'll now bring in my Hitmonchan. I'm going to be able to sub up on this thing and spin on whatever wants to come out. He goes Suicune. I did consider just going for the Toxic, but I lost too much if he had speed investment and he substitute, so I safely spin first. And he's actually just going to go for the Calm Mind. So now I know that I'm faster, I'm definitely just clicking Toxic here. Toxic, very nice to get off on this thing, wear it down, although my mind's very much thinking about the potential for it to be Rest. I'm ready for that at all times. I'm just going to Thunder Punch and wear the thing down here. And he's just going to throw off a Scald. He'll break my sub. Now I'm starting to think that this might be the turn he wants to rest. So I'm actually going to go out into my Tangrowth, because if he rests, I can put a lot of pressure on him clicking Power Whip, doing a decent amount of damage. He actually throws up an Ice Beam, +2, and Tangrowth is just a monster eating that comfortably. And here I'm going to click Power Whip. I just want to keep the pressure up on Suicune. He'll go into Florges, and I'm just going to throw Poison Jab because I don't want to miss any sort of Power Whips here. I do not like inaccurate moves, especially after my Summer Showdown run. I'm not too worried about any switching he has on this thing, so I'm just going to keep clicking Poison Jab fairly freely. And he is going to make a curious play here going into Suicune. I guess to get health back on the Wish. And I'm just going to click Power Whip here. And he's still in a tricky situation here, trying to find a switch into Tangrowth. I'm going to keep clicking Power Whip no matter what. He's going to go into Fortress, and that's fine with me because even as a sassy Tangrowth, I should be faster than a Fortress. And I've got that hidden Power Fire, and I'm able to take the thing out for a nice 6-4 lead early here. Now here he's going to bring in his Kyurem Black, and I'm going to have to go in my Jirachi. Closest thing I have to a Kyurem Black switch, and really, quite frankly, I don't deal with that Pokemon too well defensively. He'll go for Fusion Bolt and show Life Orb, so I know I'm faster. I'm just going to click Flash Cannon fairly safely. Darmanitan's going to come in, but it's getting very weakened, and I know Slowbro will force it out and make it take another round of rocks. He goes for Flare Blitz here. I'm just going to go ahead and click my Slack off, I believe. He goes out into Suicune. I might have just clicked Foul Play here, actually. I did just click Foul Play, and it does nothing to Suicune because that thing is one bulky motherfucker, and it does not have that real attack power. I'm going to bring in my Zapdos, just try to keep a little pressure up, especially since I should know all 4 moves at this point, right? Yeah, especially knowing all 4 moves and knowing that he's not going to be able to rest. I know that Zapdos can come in and pressure him, and he doesn't have that much health to play with. He's going to protect as I Volt Switch. Oh my gosh, my little dog. Shadow, stop it. Anyway, I'm going to Volt Switch out here and take down the Suicune. Bring in my Jirachi. This dog knows that he can get away with shit when I'm recording videos. That's when he does his mischief. So he'll bring in Medicham. I have Slowbro, very reliable answer to that. Unfortunately, it's going to miss High Jump Kick, but Slowbro would have comfortably munched that. And here he's going to miss another High Jump Kick, which, again, unfortunate, but Slowbro would have definitely just walled that thing all day. He brings in his Kyurem Black, and I'm just going to click Foul Play. I know I take a Fusion Bolt, and I'm not sure if High Jump Kick would have put me in range of Fusion Bolt, but I guess it could have potentially saved some differential if he landed the second one. Anyway, here's going to bring in the Darmanitan, and I know I take a hit based on the earlier U-turn damage, so I'm just going to click Foul Play, and Slowbro will, in its first game on the new team, end the game for us, having a nice 2 direct, 1 indirect KO performance. So nice to see the new addition of the team already doing some work, and I'm going to move on to 3-0 plus 15. And I'm going to run a clean sweep on my division, which is very nice for setting myself up in the right playoff position. So that's going to be it for this game. We're going to be fortunate enough to get a nice 6-0 victory for the 2nd week in a row. And GG to my opponent here. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good night.